Since your appointment to the Diocese of Wheeling-Charleston, you've no doubt learned many of the details relating to the investigation of the former bishop, your predecessor. What would you say to the faithful of the diocese as a way of explaining, helping them understand what really occurred in terms of the sexual harassment, but also the egregious financial abuse that occurred?
Lord Acton, the British historian, said, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Jesus said, that's the way that the pagan rulers treat their subjects. They dominate them and abuse them. And Jesus said to his disciples, it will not be that way among you. Whoever wishes to be first must be the servant of all. And that's what I'm going to try to be, follow that standard of Jesus. Whatever material possessions the church possesses should be used for the material benefit of the church and promote its spiritual mission, not to enrich the bishop or any other prelate. And respect for people. I've tried with my secretaries, with seminarians when I was a vocation director, to respect them as human beings first and foremost, and to promote their welfare in service to the church. And I'll continue to do that in Wheeling-Charleston.
Bishop, you can imagine and understand that there are some who are reluctant to contribute their personal financial resources to the diocese, given the exorbitant spending of the former bishop on personal comforts. What would you say to them?
Well, the exorbitant spending on personal comforts will not happen under this bishop. I pay my own bills with my own money. But I would say that step back and consider, what are you actually doing when you withhold your money from the offertory collection in your parish or from a diocesan collection? What are you actually doing? You're angry, you're doing this because you can control your money. It is your money. You're free to give it or not give it. But you're only hurting your parish if you don't contribute to the welfare, material welfare of your parish. And diocesan collections, annual appeals, in my experience, they're dedicated to helping people in need, helping children go to Catholic schools who otherwise could not afford it, helping the poor in soup kitchens or other services the church offers. So what are you actually doing? In some cases, it seems to me you'd be hurting your parish and hurting the poor. Is that Christian? Ask yourself, is that Christian? I would add to that, and I thank Archbishop Laurie and the Financial Council of the Diocese of Wheeling-Charleston for putting norms in place that really should ensure greater accountability for the use of diocesan funds. There's so many great needs: Catholic education, responding as a church to the terrible opioid crisis in the state of West Virginia, and all the other needs that the church tries to meet with the funds that it has available. But those controls should be vigorously enforced, and I intend to make sure that they are. My own personal finances, I give a lot of what I have away because I'm not raising a family. I have the ability to do that. But as a church too, what we have is not treasure here, treasure's in heaven, but the treasure we have here we use for the good of God's people. And that's what I intend to make sure happens in Wheeling-Charleston.
The youth, of course, are really the future of the church. What is your message to them? Of course, there's the different falling off of attendance and sense that the church isn't relevant to them. What do you say to the youth to bring them into the life of the church?
I would echo the words of Pope Francis at World Youth Day in Panama in January of this year. I was fortunate to be part of that wonderful experience with hundreds of thousands of young people from around the world. And I would say, Pope Francis said, young people, you're not the future of the church, you're the present. You belong to us now. Your energy, your faith, your goodwill, we need that now. Put that to work for the good of God's people. Serve and respond to God's call in whatever vocation or calling God has given you. But you are part now of the church. So you're all of that. Even make us older folks a little uncomfortable by your energy and your enthusiasm and what you want to do. But we need you, and we need all of us together. Older folks can serve too, but we need you, young people. Don't walk away from the Lord. The teachings of Jesus, the example of Jesus, are still, not just still, they always will be relevant to young people and people of any age. You cannot find a better Savior than Jesus Christ. Commit yourself to Him and follow Him and help us to be the church He wants us to be.
Finally, Bishop, in the long span of your ministry, over 40 years, you now find yourself beginning an entirely new chapter, and at the young age of 72. Obviously, this came as some surprise, as you've noted. What excites you? Are you a bit daunted or hopeful? What are you feeling?
Well, so it was a combination of all of those emotions. What I have learned over the years and the different challenges I've faced is if I trust God and go forward, take one step at a time, do the best I can, talk with people, listen, try to take in what I can from my experiences and those of others. Usually things work out reasonably well. There still will be problems. We're not going to solve all problems till we get to heaven. But heaven is for rest, earth is for work. With trust in God, you work and go forward. So I'm not daunted in the sense of, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But I trust God. I've been asked to go to West Virginia. I'm happy to go, and I will do the best I can, supported by the grace of God and the prayers and help of good people.